Welcome, everyone, to our podcast episode tonight. I'm very excited to talk to you. I have Dave here, and this is your host. I'm your host, David Cantu, and we have an amazing conversation scheduled for you guys this evening. So definitely stay tuned and definitely like and follow. Like, follow, and support us, and let us know right now that you enjoy this. So, David, how are you doing?
My man, I'm doing wonderful. A happy new year to you. I'm glad we can get together again. I've been missing our lovely conversations, so it's great to be with you. Business is doing well. School is growing. Students are being onboarded. New graduation interviews have been posted. So, yeah, man, we're doing great. I'm vibing right now. How about yourself? How you doing today?
Doing great. A lot of plans, a lot of growth as well. And yeah, the community is growing, and that's really what it is exciting for me is the connections and the organic human element that is taking shape right now, because that's where the magic happens. And I think that would be a great topic for us to talk about this evening is the connection, right? The human element and the relationships and the role that they have in our success. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea. I think both of us are deep enough into those areas where there is a lot of an automated artificial intelligence in what we do and surrounding us. But I also know that we bring a lot of personality to it to kind of give the presentation and the product a massive boost from something that really you can't just shark from an AI bot.
right. Exactly, and that would be a great way to start. Would be from just a macro. Where are we in the AI kind of story? And so the way I see it, we are at the beginning. We're still, I think, in the honeymoon phase of AI, where we're like, oh, it's so amazing. Look, we've got our chat GPT, we've got AI generation that's doing all this work for us. Like, we could be lazy. Finally, we can be lazy, and AI is taking care of everything. And that's amazing. It's a honeymoon stage. But I think sooner rather than later, this realization will come like, wow, what are we unleashing right now? What is going to happen to us when AI really takes over, when Skynet finally comes to be? And so, yeah. So first of all, let's just start from a macro. Maybe where do you think we are in this kind of relationship with AI on a macro level?
From what I see, from what I observe, and it's, we as a society, we've had, technological advancements in the past, and I think we can learn from those, and almost we can kind of plant little flags in the ground and see where we are, such as, let's talk about television, right? When that came around in the 1950s, couch potatoes didn't really show up till till the 80s, right? You had these big market booms and everyone wanted a piece of it, right? Everyone said it's shiny, it's fresh. TV nearly killed cinema in the 1960s. And then, then suddenly everyone says TV is the future, TV is the future. And then the internet came along and the bubble just popped to the point now where we all have TVs. But when, was the last time that you sat down for like terrestrial programming? That wasn't just like a late show or something like that, where there is literally just someone talking to you, you know? So I would say, looking at that, looking at the internet, looking at cell phones, things of that nature, pieces of technology that have really started out real shiny, I would say we're very early on. Because with the promises that people are saying and capabilities of AI, we're nowhere close to its full potential. Right now, it's making content. Right now, it's simply just recreating what has already been, and it does it quicker. And you're also seeing this with, of course, all these AI, brands. If you want to look at the news last week, right? From the what was it? The DeepSeek, DeepSeek versus Open AI, and all these tech companies are spending billions and billions and billions of dollars just to get a leg up. So I think right now it's proving itself useful, and I think we'll get into this as we kind of start dissecting this topic more. I think right now it's useful to people. However, it is still the stage where, even a very simple minded person can call out AI when they see it. So that's kind of where I think where we are on that one. And I'll kind of serve this back to you with your thoughts. Where do you think AI, like, what's not obviously where it's going? That's a long myth. What do you think is the next step in the AI world? What's going to be the next breakthrough?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think I've been reading up a lot on these AI agents, whether it's it's an AI, it's an algorithm, but instead of the algorithm being kind of locked up inside an app, like let's say a ChatGPT, or you talked about Opus, or all of these Dolly and Image. It's an agent, it's an algorithm that can jump into all of your apps, into all the system and the softwares working on your behalf, using all of your data to go in and send emails and message people on social media and go in everywhere and do work for you. And that's a very interesting, because instead of it being reserved to one platform, or instead of being a chat where you talk to the AI and the AI gives you answers, now you have AI performing tasks independently on your behalf all over the internet. And I think that's coming at, and OpenAI just released the tasks. So the task, which is pretty much an AI agent. And so but I would like to at least entertain the idea of the next level, which is to have these avatars and these copies, almost clones of ourselves, creating content, acting on our behalf, but not just as an algorithm, performing tasks, sending messages, but actually speaking to people and talking and presenting and having live streams and having multiple lessons and talking to a million people all at once. I think that's coming down the line. That's definitely, I think, in the cards.
I don't know if I could. Whew, how do I unpack all that? Have you ever had shivers of happiness and sheer dread go down your spine at the exact same time? Um,
Lately with AI, yes.
with AI, I mean, and I do love the concept, and I think some companies are trying that. Because I have seen now, as I expand my business and the roles, you now have companies that actually chop up the AI and they sell it as individuals. I know I've been getting spammed to high heaven from this company called Sintra, and they have an SEO bot, they have a content bot, they have workplace management bot, and you buy each of them for like 15-20 bucks per bot, and they have like 17. And I said, and they are performing different tasks, but to actually have an AI brand that focuses more on your goals and getting into your mind as to what you're trying to accomplish. Let's say I want to build my brand. Let's say I want to, build my brand, and also, you know, check in with my mom at least once a week to let him know I'm doing okay. And I can have one AI entity kind of weave between all these things, handle each task. Um, I mean, that would be huge for task management. And I think this is something what we're getting into as well. Uh, but will it be, do you think that AI at some point is going to be able to adapt to personality?
That's a great. I mean, that is the $1 million question right there. Can AI ever become organic? Now, I think there will always be a, by definition, non-human, non-organic element to AI. And in this dialogue that's starting to build up, that we're starting to see where it's a little bit of fear and a little bit of uncertainty is coming into the picture. Like I was saying, the honeymoon stage is might be coming to an end soon. And the dialogue there will be like, well, now that we've unleashed this monster, the Frankenstein, and that is taking over our job, that is making us redundant, making us and then at that stage of the dialogue, I think there will be a return to humanity in the sense that our imperfections, we were talking about before, our imperfections, our human, our organic element of who we are will become even more valuable, because in a world that's so perfect, in a world that's AI generated, which even right now, I don't know if you've heard of this theory, the dead internet theory. And this theory says that in 2008, the internet died.
Oh boy.
And they say and they say that it died because in 2008 was the last year where there was more organic interactions than inorganic interactions. That from 2008 on, there's more inorganic interactions, which are bots, which are automatic automations. And so this theory says that the original internet, there was always a human behind, and as it moved forward, there was less humans, and after 2008, there were more than 50% of all interactions, of all connections, were made inorganically. And of course, now being 2025, the number is probably much lower. I mean, I'm talking maybe less than 10% of all interactions and of all connections are inorganic.
I mean, Paul McCartney references aside, I can kind of equate that to, let's say, a call center for a big company, where, if you go to the 1990s, early 2000s, and I worked in a lot of these call centers, you had sprawling floors of hundreds of people. Hello, thank you for calling America Online. How can I help you? And now most even sizable companies can get by with 3 or 4 people. And of course, using algorithms, AI, things like that. And of course, and I think this kind of brings us full circle. We go back to it. What do we find ourselves doing when we're on the other line of the phone? Begging for a human. We are, we're just, slapping 0 as many times as we can. And I think that I do sense that you are very accurate in this prediction, and I guess time will tell. But as things become more and more automated and AI generated, there's going to be a certain value in authenticity. I would say simply the supply and demand principles, isn't it? Right? Because if you decrease the supply of authentic content, authentic business practices, authentic individualism, it's going to increase the demand. And of course, with increased demand, you have increased value, simply put. So I'm with you on that. However, I think, it's like we almost have to let AI win first before we can get back to it. Like, I like to think that I'm a pretty good public speaker, but that's only because everyone nowadays is so sucked into their phones in the digital world that, holding a conversation is now something you can be proud of.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that. And I think that's a great analogy with the AOL and these operators. And we're seeing the same thing with all these AI influencers and AI teachers. And it's painted right now. It's painted. It's all amazing. You have this content creator, and a lot of them are beautiful. I mean, you see these beautiful girls, and they're all AI generated, and they're posting pictures all day. You're like, wow, that's amazing. And it's only amazing in the honeymoon stage. Then it becomes annoying. It becomes sickening to see that, wow, like I've been talking to this girl online. Let's say not me, because I'm in a relationship, but let's say a guy, like,
You're not getting catfished by AI.
yeah, I'm not getting catfished by AI. That's a good.
Not only was it not the person you thought it wasn't a person.
It wasn't a person at all. Yeah, imagine, and that's a common occurrence now. Maybe not in our bubble, because we're busy. We're too busy with business to be, getting catfished by AI. But it's a common occurrence where you're talking and you fall in love, and you're like, oh wow, look at these pictures. And when video comes in, and when AI becomes, more realistic, then you'll have this. It'll be an epidemic, and so I think, how do we guard ourselves, and how do we prepare ourselves, and how can we thrive in that environment? That's the key. And for all teachers, all content creators, every human being, either that going into this AI and post AI world, then what is the game plan? What is the way forward?
It's a I mean, that is the question of the age, isn't it? We say, all right, how are we going to get past this? Like the phone, like the internet, things like, I mean, I always imagine, I always ask myself, what was an office building in the 1970s? It just, like a stock floor, trading floor, it's just, bunch of people pushing pencils across paper. And then, what happened when the internet showed up? Well, the internet just, it reorganized society and the world at large. It, certain thing, computer scientists, remember that was a thing once, people would go to school for computer science in the 90s, or desktop publishing. Wonderful, wonderful careers. And if you are listening to this and you are a desktop publisher or a computer scientist, I guess, then I'm definitely, let us know in the comments what you're doing now. Because that's, I mean, those are like the DeVry jobs, weren't they? But we saw ourselves past it as a society. So I think the question is, I mean, I think, of course, we as a species are generally quite adaptive. We can move with the changes. We can, I think I think the idea is, you want to make the negative impact as contained as possible. It's almost like shutting down a mine in a town where that's the only game, is the mine. So what do you do to lessen the blow, and how do you forecast what the blow is going to be? And would we trust the AI bots that we're going to be asking that to? Uh, so let me ask you this. How is AI working in your industry right now and changing things?
Oh, it's changing everything. I mean, it's changing this. Oh, you see all these apps popping up, and I've tried them all. And I don't want to throw shade or anything, but honestly, I mean, I, I I need a person. If I want to talk to someone, I want to learn a language, I want to spend an hour talking to someone. There's something that I get from you speaking to you right now, face to face, online, that an AI avatar will never be able to give me. Now, that might change. I don't think so. The tech bros think that, oh no, it's complete. We're 100% replaceable, and technology will catch up, and an AI will soon be able to engage you much more than another human being. That's the biggest thing right now. We have these AI tutors that for $1 a month or whatever, they can teach you whenever, wherever, whenever from your phone. But honestly, man, I'm not sold. I'm definitely not sold. And I've tried them, and it's good marketing. It's a good idea, great business idea, by the way. So props to them. And and good opportunities coming on that end. But technology, the idea is there. The technology needs to catch up to the idea. But behind all of those, I think you were talking, so kind of looping back to what you were talking about previous technological revolutions, what has gotten people through, what has allowed people to progress in every single technological revolution, which phased people out, just as the car phased the horse. Yeah, the horse-drawn carriages, the buggies. Yeah, it was always the relationships, which is really. I mean, we've talked about authenticity in past podcast episodes, so I don't want to reiterate that. But here, the value and almost the sacred nature of relationships, and that's what I see as the secret, right? And the way forward would be to really harness the power of relationships, to see other people as valuable as and to really forge those bonds, because in these hard times and the hard times ahead, we'll need that. We'll need each other, and we'll need that human connection, not just for the opportunities, business opportunities or personal opportunities, but also for that human warmth. And
I got you. I mean, but also by virtue of that, the Amish are going to inherit the earth. Um, and but I think that's very important. Of course, it is to maintain the relationships, and um, I think that is going to be AI's biggest problem, which I think we're starting to see it. It's going to be too perfect. And when it's too perfect, you don't trust it. It's not human, because humans are flawed and we are slow and we have particular bounces and, styles that vary based on our past experiences, based on, our past interactions and things like that. So if you're programming something to do something perfect, that, you can have AI write a song, but can you have AI write a top 10, like a Billboard top 10 song? And first off, if it's not a top 10 song, does the AI then get smug about it? Um, and I think that's the snake eating its own tail, isn't it? Telling the AI its song is not perfect.
right.
Because I've seen these AI bots which make music. And I mean, I've maybe 10, 15 years ago when I first started teaching, I asked my students if I could take a cell phone and sit inside an empty house for a year, can I function as a member of society? Such as, can I work? Can I make money? Can I, can I feed myself? Can I get furniture? Can I grow and develop? Which, of course, it would take a lot of effort, but, most of us agreed you can do that. I do wonder now, can you create a completely functioning entity using only AI elements? So images, social media interactions, they can write AI music. They can be the CEO of a company that functions solely on AI. And you can almost create this robotic pseudonym, if you will, to handle, and I think that's a very interesting question is, can you make it to the point of functionality where it would almost pass the Turing test? Would it be, human enough? Because I think a lot of us, and this is where I'm going to validate it. I think a lot of us are trying to do that with ourselves and our plights, at least those of us who are in the entrepreneurial world, in the tech world, things like that. We are essentially giving ourselves robotic spider arms in the form of AI to do these things. However, I think a lot of times in a lot of places, where the humanity is needed, we look at the AI and say close enough. But those who look at it and see your 30 fingers on each of your hands, I don't think they, you know, to them it's clear as day. So now I'll bounce it back to you. You know, AI and its functionality in your industry.
Hmm.
Um, where is the meeting point of you and AI? Where's your crossroad?
So the line that I don't want to cross, I still want to be myself. I'm still investing in my imperfections, in my personality, in my way to reach out to others, in my when I make videos and all that. It's me speaking, but of course I get inspiration, I get ideas from AI. So I'll go to ChatGPT, I'll find some information. I'll have some questions. Hey, I want to talk about this. Will you give me some nice expressions? How can I tie this to this? How can I, copyright? How can I get a better, sales pitch? Or how can I use some words that will entice students a little bit more that will, so it's mostly as a back end. It's the front end. And I think that's the key for a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of teachers is, the front end needs to be human because that's that warm feeling that the student and students, the clients, the customers want is they want a human being in front and they want a person. They want to get to know you. They want that support, that care. Also the relationship, the student, they want that relationship, even though some people, you know, uh, might not see the value. I see a tremendous value in that, I'm going to take care of you. You're my student. I'm here for you. I will guide you. I believe in you. I will help you power through from person to person. That is the amount of power that you get when another human being is behind you, supporting you, pushing you, elevating you, giving you all the tools. It's invaluable. So that's kind of where I stand. Back end, I'm happy to have AI do all of that to write, help me write some scripts, maybe edit some of the content that I have, chop it all up. But the front end, I want it to be more than 80% organic.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and I think that's why you and I gel really well. Honestly, I think you and I both have we have a special relationship with authenticity. A relationship that, of course, is not everywhere. You and I have had enough overlaps in this world with other people that it's not a guarantee, is it now? And I think especially when you have companies, because you and I are or at least by definition, small time entrepreneurs, right? We have, we are the face of our industries. We are the face of our business. If you're going to get involved in our company, you're probably going to meet us in some way, shape, or form. I think though a lot of the more faceless, larger corporations, I think to them it's dollars and cents, isn't it? I mean, it's just literally isn't worth it to have a person from a fiscal shareholder perspective. And I think a lot of the times, uh, we just we file it down to just, is it valuable financially or not? And a lot of times, because when you think of finances, normally you just say, well, that's that person's salary, right? What am I paying this person to do? Just like you would outsource, to to a country where salaries are cheaper. Come to Czech Republic and tell me how many Fortune 500 companies you find, right? Because in the Czech Republic, if you're making $2,000-3,000 a month, you're doing okay. That's the average for the biggest city in the country. Prague is about $3,000 a month, and this is Microsoft, this is Novartis, this is Accenture, this is DHL. These are these huge companies. Honeywell is over here, and even a CEO in the Czech Republic, the average CEO salary before bonuses is about 50,000 US dollars a year. Riddle me that. So now take that concept and say, well, AI, other than any sort of subscriptions, costs me exactly nothing. So you weigh the human element, and I think a lot of times the human element loses. Sadly. But I'm with
So I wanted to ask you something, connected to that. So when once AI kind of comes in and takes over, yeah, or people start getting phased out, people start losing their jobs, everything becomes automated. Who are the people, and that will remain? What skills do you see are the ones that will keep their jobs, the ones that are AI proof? Because that's a big concept right now. Just how to make yourself AI proof.
Well, I mean, if the idea of AI is to create, an individual entity, then I mean, I think no one's safe, especially the tech bros. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are, holding the chains of the lions. But the second those chains are gone, they're going to be the closest piece of food to those lions. You know what I mean? So I think individuals, the human element is going to be on like a bone. They're going to be the people are going to be on either side. You're going to have people who are going to be at the receiving end of AI. Um, you know, Picking up bags, things like that. AI it doesn't have arms, it doesn't have muscles, it doesn't have legs. It can't push a plow, it can't pick up a handful of strawberries. You're going to have people who will be potentially dictated by AI. I mean, if AI already handles the hiring, it already because and this is now, AI handles hiring, it does CV filtration, it does keywords. You're making your resumes on AI, and AI is doing the hiring as well. It's hilarious. Um, so you're gonna have them on that side, and I think that that element is just going to be very, very concentrated, and it's almost going to be like as we always talk about the vanishing middle class. It's the middle that's going to be replaced. It is the people who are performing tasks. It is the task performer that is going to be phased out. So you're going to have your people who are going to be doing actual physicalities. You're going to have people who will be executing the whims of these AI things, because that right now AI is nothing more than just a reference point, isn't it? It's an educated reference guide. Um, and then on the other side, you're going to have those who AI works for, and you're going to have the people, you know, uh, the entrepreneurs, which is very going to be very beneficial. However, and this is what I'm going to pass back to you. Do you think it's going to create such a gap that the entrepreneurs are going to find less success because there'll be less customers who qualify for their product, be it financially or what they're trying to accomplish? So if I'm training TEFL teachers, what happens when AI replaces teachers? Waka waka, right? So what do you think on that one?
It's definitely going to be a two-tiered system. There will be, like you said, the AI barons who will have armies of AI agents working for them. I mean, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of AI employees, slaves working slaves working for their master, whoever owns them. And then you will have the AI slaves that are being guarded or being controlled by the AI. Exactly. So that too, and you already start to see it. And just like everything, I mean, a gun, a sword, has two sides to it. A sword can be a weapon, but it can also be a tool. It can be a tool that is used to harm people, but it can also be a weapon to protect people. Right. So I think AI will function in a similar way, where there will those. That's why I tell everyone one of the best investments one can make right now is to get to know AI, to spend a couple hours a day just learning. Even if it's tedious, it's always changing. So you'll learn. Like I sometimes play around with some of these applications. A week later, a better one comes out. It's like, oh wow, I just invested so much time learning how to use this one. A better one comes out, makes the first one obsolete. But it's the process of understanding it, I think, will prove to be invaluable in the future. And to connect it to what we were talking about, teaching and everything, it's you'll have teachers who use AI and are able to generate content, or able to maybe add a supernatural element to themselves. They'll be supermen and superwomen, super teachers, and then you'll have the teacher be like, oh no, we're gonna copy. I'm gonna write on the blackboard with a chalk, and copy exactly what I say, and repeat, and you're going to have that. And there might be a middle ground where once we get tired of AI, there's this rejection of it by a lot of people, because that tends to happen. There's always a phase where it's not as beautiful. It's not as exactly. Then there might be a return to traditional, where people say, oh, you know what? I'll pay extra. I'll pay premium prices to have a real teacher. I'll pay a top dollar to have a real human.
I got you on that. I'll have the artisanal teacher, if you please.
I'll pay extra for the blackboard.
Right. It's old school, right? It'll be what is it? Rustic. I'll take a rustic teacher, if you please. And I think that we'll see that as well. However, how we are as a society. We know how we are. I think one thing that AI brings that we are not going to want to regress back to is the speed. Because we like everything fast and hot. It is delivered in less than 30 minutes, or it's free. And as information has come to us quicker and quicker and quicker, you and I are around the same age. You remember those AOL dial-up, and you'd be able to log onto a web page, go have lunch, come back, and the web page will be at like 88, 90%. And nowadays, it's just you're on your third web page, before the other one even finishes loading up. So, I mean, we now have an expectation of swiftness. We have an expectation of quick access. And once again, I think this is kind of, once the genie is out of the lamp, you don't really get to put it back in, because people are going to want those things quick. And so, yes, you can have an artisanal teacher. You can have a system that, is a little bit more authentic and old school. But I think our expectation is going to be almost like where now we expect AI to imitate the individual. We're going to want the individual to imitate AI. And I think that is going to be a lot trickier, because suddenly I have to go up against a super machine. Right. That's
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. No, it's true. So I think one of the things, because you're completely right. I mean, this is people do crave that human side, but at the same time, they also demand this robotic, technological, efficiency. So we have to meet them. We have to meet those two conditions. That, oh, hey, I'm authentic. I'm human. Look, let's talk. Let's just have a Socratic dialogue, like Socrates in the good old days, right? But yet, oh no, but I want all these, things, all these AI things popping up and just sending information directly to my head, to my mind, and all these exercises that are generated according to my preference and everything. Well, that's and those very high demands, right? And so we have to, and this is why we need to be on our game to be able to deliver that human authenticity, that connection to be like, hey, no, I'm a real person. I'm building a relationship with you. I care about you. I'm with you, where people feel empowered on a human level, but also, hey, you want efficiency, you want AI, you want technology. I got you too.
Oh, it's like a mermaid. It can be a human body with a fish tail, but could also be a fish body with human legs.
Oh, yes.
So, do you want your AI to imitate the person? Do you want the person to imitate the AI?
Ooh.
And that was kind of the mental image I was drawing right there. And I said, are we going to be ready to adapt to that? And I think you said it just right. I think the best way that we can, start getting it is to know it, is to see how it affects your world. And I mean, and I would argue, I would tell anyone, get involved with it somehow. It's like our parents telling us to get a job when we were like 13 and 14. It's not like they wanted us to pay bills. They wanted us to get a perspective and an idea of what the workforce is like, what it's like to have a boss, what it's like to have work hours and responsibilities outside of your house chores. So I would say, go on one of these chatbots and perform some tasks with it. Write up ask it to write you a script or a blog or a diatribe, do some research about something. Make some AI posts, generate some wacky AI images of yourself, which is all the rage now on the social media sites, things like that. Because at the end of the day, the only way you're going to be able to not even compete, but comprehend what's happening is to purposefully involve yourself with it. Even if it's not part of like your world, your lifestyle, put 500 bucks into like cryptocurrencies just so you can watch it and have a stake in it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a great point, because, AI, it's a friend, but it's also an enemy at the same time. And some people say, oh, they just take one side or the other, instead of, no, can it be a friend and an enemy or a competitor at the same time? So in a way, you want to become a friend by getting to know it. Again, you're using it and understanding it, number one, but also realize that you're playing a chess game against AI. Right. And so you got the board there, and then AI makes a move. Hey, I got Chat GPT. I got you. You're like, wait, but you can't create videos. So I got you now. So you create some, and then AI will say, oh, well, I can create better videos of you, that look more real, where you better looking and are more eloquent. And then you're like, wait, well, in that case, maybe I have to make purposeful mistakes that you can't do, or I can do something creative that the AI can't. And then that's your play. So it really is, in a way, it's a relationship that we're building, but it's also an opponent that we're fighting.
Very, very, very nuanced. Oh my God. I see that now I'm going to want to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey after this thought today, because, you ever want something fun? Ask OpenAI or Chat GPT, or don't do DeepSeek, because ask DeepSeek about Tiananmen Square 1989. It'll be fun.
Never happened. Never happened.
It's beyond its scope. But I asked the chatbot if it felt that HAL 9000 was guilty of murder, and the chatbot actually took HAL 9000's side.
Ooh.
And I'm like, all right, I this is the OJ acquittal right here, the AI has found the AI to be innocent, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's a battle. It is a battle. We're gonna have to keep it, in line, keep AI in line. We're gonna have to step up to the plate and not allow it to keep us in line, because it also wants it, or whoever's behind it, whatever organic or inorganic force. So we also collectively need to also fight for our survival and say, no, like we're still the boss. Yeah, humans are still the masters of AI, and we must not allow AI to become the master of humanity.
And I think the only way you're going to do that is to make sure that you are always one step ahead. You need to know enough about it to know where it's at, what its capabilities are, and how you can use it to help you, and how you can circumnavigate around how it could potentially compete with you. I think that is, I mean, and I think somehow, some way through this diatribe we just had, I think we just landed on it.
That's it. We landed. We landed.
We
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, I'm very happy. This was a great discussion, and yeah, I mean, I think we hit some great points, and I'd like to invite all the listeners to leave a comment. What was the most interesting thing that we said? What things do you agree with? What things do you disagree with? What would you like? What questions do you have that we can address in one of our next episodes? So, David, any last words, any calls to action, anything that you'd like to invite the audience to do?
Oh, man, of course, if you want to involve yourself more in our worlds, of course, we have various industries that we work in that we'd love to see you as a part of. Mine is online TEFL certification, 120-hour course. It's called TEFLPros. You can find us at TEFLPros.com, and you can actually schedule a strategy call with myself, and we can talk about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish with your TEFL certification, whether you're trying to teach online, whether you're trying to move around the world, and also how AI can help you with that. Because if you are in the teaching world right now, AI is a wonderful tool. So I'd love to hear more about that. So that's my call to action. How about you, Dave? What you got for us?
Well, I teach languages. I teach languages. Teach communication. I host some discussion panels, some conversation classes, some dialogues using traditional Socratic methods and philosophical analyses and questioning. And so it's very, very human on that level, but we also leverage technology. I love technology, and we leverage it so that we can have the best of both worlds and learn to communicate, learn foreign languages. That's my specialty and that's my passion. So I teach English, Spanish, and French. You can find me, David Alexander Cantu. I'm all over the place, all over social media. And yeah, you can join my community and we can build strong bonds, strong relationships, and grow together.
Very good, man. Very good. Also, to those of you who are listening, feel free to interact with our podcast here. Like I said, we want to keep the conversation going. So even if you have to go to AI to find what to tell us and post on there, we'd love to read it, love to hear it, and maybe you can tell us where you think AI is going to wind up as well. So again, David, thank you so much for your talk today. It's always a wonderful time having these conversations. I'm looking forward to many more in the future, man.
Oh yes, many more to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.